Namaste, Manoshi ji. Thank you for
Namaste.
joining me today, and I'm really grateful to you for coming here and giving your time. And it will be really beneficial for the spiritual seekers that we have as an audience in our channel and on our websites and so many places, that your work and everything needs to come to light, and all the dharma things that you are doing, and it'll be a great inspiration for a lot of people. And I seriously hope some people are able to volunteer and help you in all that you are doing. So that's my humble thing to do from my side. But yeah, thank you so much for joining.
Namaste.
Namaste. So, Manoshi ji, let's start with your hometown, your home place, and what your history is, what your background is, and how did you start on this journey of research and Indic research that you are doing.
Yeah, namaste to the viewers and the listeners. Namaste to Adiguru Prakriti ji. I am a Vishnupriya Manipuri from Assam, from the Tinsukia district. This place is located very near to the Arunachal Pradesh border. It is in Upper Assam. And my ancestors were from Manipur. They faced exodus in the 18th century due to Burmese aggression, and they settled in Assam. So there were, due to this exodus, so many Manipuris settled in various parts of the northeast, including other parts of the country and across the world. And yes, there are two sects of Manipuris. One is Meitei Manipuri and one is Vishnupriya Manipuri. We trace our ancestry to Prabhanjan, a Gandharva king in Manipur. He ruled Manipur during some thousands of years ago, before the Mahabharata events took place. And the Mahabharata, the Adi Parva of Mahabharata, describes the story about Prabhanjan. So he was childless for many years. So he invoked Shiva. He performed severe penance, and he sought blessings for the child. So delighted, Shiva appeared in front of him and he blessed him. And he also blessed him with one condition, that every generation from Prabhanjan would have one child, and who would be a very successful ruler of Manipur.
Wow.
Thereafter, each generation had one child, a male child. And during the Mahabharata period, Chitrabahan was the king of Manipur. Due to the blessings of Shiva, he had one child, but the child was a female, and she was named as Chitrangada. Yeah. After she was born, Raja Chitrabahan initiated her as a putrika. Means, after his death, Chitrangada will be the king, will be the ruler of Manipur. And after she gets married, her eldest male will be the king of Manipur. So he will be from the line of the Gandharva lineage only, as per the initiation. So during the Mahabharata period, Arjuna, during his exile, he visits Manipur, and there he married Chitrangada. The Babru was their son. So according to the Adi Parva of the Mahabharata, Babru later he became the king of Manipur, and Arjuna was he was allowed to marry Chitrangada on the condition that his son should be allowed to stay back at Manipur and be the king of that kingdom. And then we all know the Mahabharata events that took place and all. So Babru the son of Babru was Dattamani. Dattamani's son was Atyaguru. Atyaguru's son, he had 6 sons. Sanamahi was the eldest. And all of these 6 sons, Sanamahi, Angong, Luang, Moirang, Akhangba. All of these sons are worshipped till date in Manipur and all by all the Vishnupriya Manipur, Meitei Manipuris and Vishnupriya Manipuris as ancestral deities. And the youngest son, Pakhamba, his son was Apokpa. All of these six sons, five sons except Sanamahi, the eldest son, they started their own dynasties. And Pakhamba's son, Apokpa, he started the Kumal dynasty. And we are all the descendants of Kumal.
Okay.
Our earliest ancestor is Pravanjan, and then Babrubahan. So we are from the Kuru lineage when it comes to Arjuna, and the Gandharva lineage from Chitrangada. And so our Kula Devata is Apokpa, we worship him. So in every Shraddha ceremony, in marriage ceremony, in Annaprashan, or every auspicious occasion, we invoke Apokpa, our Kula Devata. And he is also known as Kumal.
Okay.
So there is a story in the Kumal Purana how Shiva, when he was in Kailash, he looked around. He wanted to take birth in mortal. He wanted to be there in mortal form for some time in a particular region, and he liked Manipur. So even he asked Durga that I'll be taking birth as the son of Akhamba. So you will be born as the daughter of a Gandharva lady there. So she's Panthoibi. So that's how they both got married, and then there have been generations after generations and all. So that's my lineage, my ancestral history. So we have come up with a book where we have described all of the details, and including details about the other dynasties, about the other brothers of Pakhamba. So, until the present conflict, described in detail. There are two collaborative authors, Dr. Ankita Datta and Vladimir Adityanath. So initially, I did my schooling and my graduation from my hometown. And I studied in Don Bosco School, and then I studied in Women's College, and then I did my post-graduation in English Literature from Pune University. Thereafter, I taught in the school where I studied, and also in Dumduma College for some time. And then I came to Delhi to get a book published, but I ended up giving an interview for the role of an editor, and I got selected, and then I started working in Delhi.
Okay.
So initially, I worked as a trainee editor, then editor in leading publication houses, and then I worked in the corporate sector as well. And then since my teenhood, I was more interested towards visiting all of these historical sites across the country. Okay. But as I was very young, and you need the resources, you need either of your parents with you to visit all of these places. Yeah. So later on, when I started studying in Pune University, so we had all of these friends, and we used to go to all of these places. So in Maharashtra, we visited Singhangarh Fort. We climbed to the top of Singhangarh Fort, then Ajanta Caves, Ellora Caves, and other places, historical places in Aurangabad, then more historical sites. So that was when I was in my post-graduation days. Thereafter, I started visiting because by that time I could visit all of these places alone. And then after I got married, I found him nurturing a similar passion. He loves visiting all of these historical sites as well. So we both together, we started visiting all of these historical sites across the country. So once in 3 months or 2 months, we used to go visit. And as I grew up, from my very early childhood, my father used to narrate. We are 6 siblings. My father used to narrate stories of valor about our warrior ancestors and about the epic heroes and heroines, and then about our deities, about the gods and goddesses described in the Puranas, and he used to narrate all of the stories to us. So we were all very inspired. And my mother, she is an ardent devotee of She was, now she is no more. Her parents are no more. She was an ardent devotee of Krishna, and she used to wake up in Brahma Muhurt, and we learned everything from her. So that's what the roots are actually shaped. The foundation is shaped at home for every child.
Yes.
That's how dharma evolves. Because if the roots are, if the foundations are not strong,
it starts with parents.
Yes. So how you get rooted to your civilizational identity, it all depends how you are getting nurtured, how you grow up. So that's how our father and mother, they taught us what our identity is. And then my husband is also a very ardent devotee of all our pantheon of deities. And together we used to visit all of these places. Based on all of these visits and based on reading of various books, the literature available from the early medieval period, ancient period to the present period. So we all studied all of this literature, and that's how we came up with the books Saffron Swords Part 1 and Saffron Swords Part 2. So these are published by Garuda Prakashan. Both are bestsellers. The first part has 52 episodes of valor of our warrior ancestors, both men and women, from each and every corner of Bharat, from the 8th century till 1947.
Wow.
And book 2 of Saffron Swords also has another 52 episodes of valor, both men and women, from 8th century till 1947, from each and every corner of the Bharat. Beautiful. So there are 104 episodes already covered. So I'm planning for more volumes of Saffron Swords. And then I have also written Echoes of the Ancients, Vishwaguru Bharat Echoes of the Ancients. There I have described about a few scientists who have contributed a lot, not only to Bharat, but to the world. Like Shushruta, who is considered the world's first surgeon. Then Maharishi Kanad, who propounded the atomic theory. Then we have, I have described a chapter on gravity. Then I have described, there is a chapter on the ancient Gurukul system and the ancient universities of India. And then there are several chapters on several temples across the country, especially in the Yoginis, Shiva temples. And and then there are one book I have already, the manuscript of Reclaiming Mathura, a historical analysis of Krishna Janambhumi. That's what the manuscript of this book has been already submitted. It will be out in the market in 2 or 3 months. And then we are working with another book, the Manipur Conundrum. It's a collaborative book, as I've already stated. And it will be done for print, say in 15 days to 20 days time.
Let's talk about the exodus that you said, because of the Burmese people and all the victims that were there, and how it impacted you understanding what happens to your ancestors and people, and how you tried to fix or didn't adopt the victimhood kind of an identity, even though the whole area was under the attack and it was bad. I mean, so can you explain a little bit about that?
Yeah. I will start from the Mahabharata times. During the Mahabharata times, Burma was known as Rakkaspura, and it was part of Bharat only.
Wow.
And during the Aswamedha Yagya, when Arjuna, he entered into a conflict with the king of Rakkaspura. He entered into conflict with several more kings across various kingdoms of Bharat, as we all know. And after several centuries, in the early medieval period or so, even we have from the last part of the BCE period, parts of present Burma was part of India. Yes. Later on, it was a separate region.
Yeah.
And then during the early medieval period, so many kings from the northeast area, including kings from UP, they also settled in Burma. They established their kingdoms.
Oh, okay.
And later on, Burma became a completely separate identity.
Yeah.
And the Burmese king, they started attacking Manipur, because a major territory of Manipur is Burma, and this Manipur shares a common territory. It's a major common territory. And so there used to be influx of people from Burma to Manipur, and also from Manipur to Burma as well, for trade purposes or for social visits, etc. But later on, there have been attacks. And there have been several attacks by the Burmese. There was genocide, there was destruction of houses, and destruction of entire towns in Manipur, and destruction of the crop fields, etc. And though many a time the king of Manipur emerged successful, but 3 or 4 times he was defeated, as a result of which the people had to flee from Manipur. So many Manipuris, they faced, thousands of Manipuris, they faced exodus. Even the Burmese king that time, he actually took 1,000 Manipuris during the 18th century, he took 1,000 Manipuris from Manipur to Burma, because he found most of the Manipuris, they were very adept in reciting the slokas or in puja rituals, etc. They were scholarly. So that Burmese king, he employed most of these Manipuris in his court at the time. And what Gandharvas are, they're actually the musicians of the divine, of the deities, of the devas. And so we have this inherent trait in us as well. You will find most of the Manipuris, they are involved in
singing, music,
singing, dancing, music, and all of this.
Yeah.
Yes, it is robotically it is there.
Yeah.
So you'll find,
yeah.
So that's the Gandharva trait. And so what happened is that, as I have initially told, there were 6 sons of Atya Guru. The eldest son was Sanamahi. So Sanamahi, there is again a story that led Sanamahi to remain as a household deity from the Mahabharata period. And if you have time, I can tell the story.
Yes,
it is in the Puranas.
Yes.
It is in the Kumal Purana. The Kumal Purana describes about Atya Guru. So Atya Guru had 6 sons. So he wanted to give his kingdom to one son. So what he did is he assembled all of his 6 sons, and he told them, like, whoever roams around the world and comes here first will be given the kingdom.
Okay.
Out of all the 6. So there is a similar story of Ganesha and Shiva.
Yes.
Yes.
So
what happens is Sanamahi immediately he sets out. So did the other 4 sons. But the youngest son Pakamba, he did not go. So what he did, when his father was asleep in his bed, not asleep exactly, he was lying on his bed, then he did a tour of circumambulated his father. And he said, "You are my world. So I have circumambulated you. So I need not roam. I need not circumambulate the world. You are my world." So his father got he was very elated that my son is full of wisdom. So he made Pakamba the king of Manipur.
Yeah.
Later on, after several months, the other sons arrived and they got very angry, like, this is cheating. Similar to the story of Kartikeya and Ganesha. Those Kartikeya went immediately with a pickup to circumambulate the world, the universe. And Ganesha, what he did, he asked both of his parents to he asked them to sit in a place, then he worshipped them, he circumambulated them. And then Ganesha was, it was on the question of marriage, out of the 2, who should get married first.
Yeah.
So that's how Ganesha got married first, and later on Kartikeya, he came, but then he got very enraged.
Oh.
And that's how he went away to the base of the Kailasha mountains for some time.
Yes.
And so here, Sanamahi, he came first, and he saw Pakamba seated on the throne of Manipur, and he got very angry. He was about to come and he strike Pakamba, and Atya Guru, his father stopped him. He said, I bless you that from today onwards, from this from this moment onwards, the people of Manipur will worship you as their household deity.
Okay.
So then he stopped. But the other sons, they left the kingdom. And they started like gathering their armies to fight against Pakamba. And what happened is, later, Atya Guru died, and even Pakamba also died, and his son Apokpa, what he did, as soon as he ascended the throne of Manipur, he divided his kingdom into 5 parts.
Okay.
And he kept one part for himself, that is the Kumal dynasty, and he gave rest of the 4 parts to the rest of the 4 uncles.
Okay.
And so that's how the 5 dynasties it started. So the Mangang clan, the descendants of the Mangang clan are actually the Meitei Manipuris.
Okay.
And the Vishnupriya Manipuris are the descendants of the Kumal clan. So there are also details about other clans as well. So what happened, the Mangang clan, and there is also one, it will be a very lengthy podcast if I go on continuing why the Meiteis were in the majority, why they became very successful, how the Kumal dynasty, they were reduced to a few in numbers. There is again a long story, there is a story in written. Actually, our Kula Devata, at the time, our Kula Devata Pakanga himself, he said that whoever worshipped him will stay with the king.
Okay.
So when Apokpa became the king, Pakamba stayed with him. That's how his kingdom flourished. And after many generations, one of the descendants of Apokpa, he did not worship. He was not able to fulfill what Pakamba demanded.
Right.
And that's the reason Pakamba left the Kumal clan and he went to the Mangang clan.
Okay.
And then the Mangang clan started flourishing from there. And the descendants of this Kumal clan, they entered into conflict with other kings. And then due to warfare and due to Pakamba leaving them, their numbers reduced.
Okay.
And so till today, our Vishnupriya Manipuri, the numbers of the Vishnupriya Manipuri community is very less. So altogether, we are around 4.5 to 5.5 lakhs all across the world, total in number. Oh. So our language, Vishnupriya Manipuri, is a dying language. It will soon become extinct. So according to a survey, by the end of this century, this language will go extinct. Okay. The reason is, so there are 2 lakh Vishnupriya Manipuris in Manipur. And as the state language is Meitei Manipuri there, so they prefer speaking in Meitei because, see, we have been born and brought up in Assam. We speak Assamese.
Okay.
With the common people. There are Assamese people all around. We speak in Assamese. We consider Assamese as our mother tongue. Vishnupriya Manipuri is also our mother tongue. Because our parents speak Vishnupriya Manipuri, we learn from them. And because they speak in Vishnupriya Manipuri with our relatives, we learn from them. And we started, whenever we interact with our relatives, we speak in Vishnupriya Manipuri. And then what happens is the Vishnupriya Manipuris staying in other parts of the country, say in Delhi. So there will be more of Hindi-speaking people, English-speaking people all around, right? So even the parents that tend to speak in English and Hindi, and the children, they cannot speak their own mother tongue. Yes. That's how the language is dying. Yeah. So that's the condition of the Vishnupriya Manipuri language. So even in the census records also, because there is no differentiation between the Meitei Manipuri and the Vishnupriya Manipuri, we are classified as Manipuri only in the census as well. So when only a few of them identify themselves as Vishnupriya Manipuri in the census records, as a result of which during the last census records, there are only 64, less than 100 Vishnupriya Manipuris in Manipur, according to census records.
But because they might be calling themselves just Manipuri.
Manipuri.
Yeah.
And because they cannot speak Vishnupriya Manipuri, they have forgotten their language. Few of them they know the original language.
Yeah.
So that language is dying. So even in other parts of the country, like in Assam, like ours is an example. There are many examples like us where they speak Vishnupriya Manipuri as well as the Assamese language as well as other languages. So it is a dying language, and we have faced. Our ancestors have faced exodus. We have an identity crisis. We are facing an identity crisis at present, especially the Vishnupriya Manipuris. Yes, the Meitei Manipuris are also facing an identity crisis in Manipur, because all of us know about what the conflict is going on, and then there is mass conversion in the northeast. So you will see there are several states where Hindus are a minority.
Yes.
The majority are Christians.
Yes.
So like Mizoram is almost going to be 100% majority Christian state.
Yeah.
And what happens due to this mass conversion, the youth, the people there, they don't get connected to the roots, the Sanatana roots.
Yes.
So even if they say they follow paganism, they worship the trees, they worship nature, that is also a part of Sanatana Dharma only.
Yeah.
Even atheism is also a part of Sanatana Dharma.
Yes.
So what if there, for example, even we worship our ancestors, we worship Sanamahi, we worship Apokpa. So the Meitei Manipuris worship 3 different types of Apokpa. Apokpa, the earliest ancestor, then Apokpa, 3 generations ahead, he is also known as Apokpa. And the head of their clan is also known as Apokpa.
Okay.
So there are 3 Apokpas among the Meitei Manipuris. There is 1 Apokpa among the Vishnupriya Manipuris, that is us. But yes, the identity crisis is there amongst both the sections. And when we speak about, this is again a very controversial topic, when we speak about the cookies and all, because there are, according to the Treaty of Yannabu in 1826, like when the Anglo-Burmese War, it ended with the Treaty of Yannabu. And then after that, after the British left, there have been illegal immigration of the cookies from Burma.
What is cookies?
So cookies are actually a name of a tribe.
Okay.
Actually, they are originally from Burma.
Okay.
But whoever have settled before independence are all Indians only.
Okay.
Even the cookies who have settled in India before 1947. So after independence, whoever will illegally infiltrate in India will be called as foreigners only, right?
Right.
So there we have so many Bangladeshi infiltrators in Assam.
Yes.
In other parts of India, we have Rohingyas from Myanmar who are there across the country. So they are all illegal infiltrators because they have illegally they've infiltrated our country after independence.
Yes.
So the cookies who have been in India before independence, they are all Indians.
Okay.
But after that, there is a cutoff date.
Yes.
That is 1951. So after 1951, whoever came to India from Burma are all infiltrators.
Right.
And the recent infiltrators will not consider India as part of their own country. That's the reason they are demanding a separate state, separate administration for themselves, actually, not separate state, a separate administration for themselves. So when we have legislative assemblies, we have all of this democracy, then why do we give a separate administration to the cookies only?
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
That will be against the constitution, against the democracy.
Yeah.
So due to the cookie infiltrators, the Meiteis are facing a problem there, who are the majority in Manipur now. And then because of the exodus that our ancestors faced in the 18th century, and because of the language identity, and because we are few in number, we are facing an identity crisis. That is the Vishnupriya Manipuris.
Right. This is a really heavy history. I mean, it's so many problems in that part, in that area. And a lot of times, the rest of the country is not aware about the problems that you guys are facing on the borders and what infiltration. Only when something big happens, there is a news or something. But you see all these missionaries, when they start settling there, missionaries started doing left and right. They were converting people and from any caste, tribe, clan, they just went on converting people. And now when we see all of them together, it's a big problem now. It looks like a big problem, but nobody tried to intercept this kind of a religious conversion that goes on. And
Yes.
some rules should be there, you know.
Yes. There are solutions. There are solutions, and it is not easy also to get
Yes.
all of this solved at an instant. It will take
Yes.
time.
Yes.
It will take time. The border sealings would be there. There are certain permits allowed between Burmese and the Indians this side to cross the borders and all. Then the citizenship like CAA, NRC, all of this would be implemented. Then the walls should be there in the borders. Then all of this will, in some way, it will solve the issue. All of this.
This is really good.
And then see, there's we are all like, we have been followers of Dharma since ancient times.
Yes.
When we interpret Dharma in the context of warfare or in context of invasion, so in the BCE period, that is in the last years of BCE, even the Indo-Greeks, they ruled parts of India, and they ruled even Mathura also.
Oh.
For some time. And thereafter, the Indo-Scythians, they also ruled Mathura. But one thing is that they never imposed their civilizational identity or their rituals or their religion on the native Indians. In fact, they assimilated with the Indian culture. They adopted Indian names. They adopted the Indian traditions and all. They allowed their subjects to follow their own traditions independently.
They didn't come to do these kind of sneaky and, sinister kind of bad kind of manipulative things. So you see, we used to have asuras and rakshasas who are mayavi. So this they will hide as into a they'll come as very beautiful woman or a man, and then they will try to trick you. Exactly in the same way this whole conversion thing is going on. It's a sneaky nature, sinister, and
Yes, and then you have this whole lot of several centuries of Islamic invasion where there are millions of genocide in millions. They destroyed lakhs of our temples and historical sites. They looted our wealth. In terms of GDP, and India was called as Sonchiriya.
Yes.
Sone ki chiriya. It was so wealthy, and in early medieval times, all of these Indian kings, they used to follow rules of dharma in warfare.
Yes.
They will never attack any other king
just for
before sunrise.
Yes,
after
before
sunset.
sunrise, after sunset.
Before sunrise and after sunset, they will never. Even if the enemy soldiers are found wounded, they will even help them.
Yes.
And then they will never attack the territory of the kingdom, like towns and cities. They will only concentrate themselves in the battlefield, the selected battlefield. And they never enslaved women. They never enslaved the common citizens, the common people. And they will never attack from the back.
Is there a book, or would you like to throw some light about that even war could be dharmic? Like you said, these are the dharmic practices that are followed even in the war. So yes, at times wars have to be fought, and wars have to be, to establish the greater good, for greater good, or to establish dharma. Wars are necessary at times. But even in wars, Sanatana Dharma kings and queens and everybody, they were following the dharma.
Yes. That is the, and it is because they have been following these rules of dharma, they were taken aback, like they were not prepared when these brutal Islamic invaders, they started invading and attacking our kingdoms. Yes. Because when kings of different kingdoms of Bharat, they engaged in battles and wars, they followed these rules of dharma. So the common people were not affected, the women were not affected. And before sunrise and before sunset, no king ever thought that this enemy king will attack us in the middle of the night. So
Yes.
that understanding was there. But what did the Islamic invaders do? They attacked in the middle of the night. They attacked entire cities. They used to enslave the women. They took them as sex slaves. They used to commit genocide of the people. And whoever agreed to convert themselves to Islam were allowed to leave. And they looted wealth, because earlier temples used to be the treasure houses of wealth.
Yes.
So they attacked all of these temples, from where they looted all of the wealth that was stored. Even today, we have this tradition of donating generously to temples. We have so many temples that are the richest places on the world. So till today, we have this legacy continuing. So in earlier times also, that's the reason why all of these invaders, they targeted temples specifically to loot the wealth.
That is why
and at the same time, they destroyed the temples.
That is why we say that, learning about adharma is very important these days. Why? If you do not understand your enemy, you cannot fight with them. And you may be the dharmic person, I may be the dharmic person, and we may fought with all kinds of dharma. But if we do not know what the other party is, that's why doing some sort of a purva paksha, studying your enemy, knowing more about the types of adharma that can exist and can be done to you, the kind of arms and ammunitions that could be used against you. Even see, they were using our own women and children against us. By threatening to rape them, and by actually raping them and killing children, or taking them with them as sex slaves, or to send them in the slave trade markets, and all that has happened. So knowing about adharma is very important, and regardless of where it is being done in the entire geography of Sanatana Dharma or Hinduism, because someday the fire will come to everybody's house. Some people may be thinking, oh, this is happening in the border state, why should I be bothered? No, someday it travels. That is how it traveled in the past. That is how it can travel in the future as well. Today there is a dharmic fight going on the borders, then it will come to home. So what is that latest thing, the issue that is going on in Manipuri, and why still so much burning and so much of people in turmoil and so much suffering?
We have this slogan of dharma rakshati rakshita. If you don't protect
dharma
yourself, how will dharma? You should know how to protect yourself as well. So when in warfare, or as you explained in detail, we should know the other way also.
Yes.
About adharma and adharma.
Yeah.
If you should not allow adharma to happen to you and around you.
You need to know what it is that you are trying to stop or prevent from. Yeah. So what is this latest thing that you wrote in the book, conundrum, the Manipur conundrum book that you have? So if you can tell us a little bit about the latest situation that is there.
As I have told, this is a collaborative work, Manipur conundrum. So there are 3 sections. So the first section deals with the history of Manipur, especially from the pre-Mahabharata times, as I have told about Prabhanjan, Raja Prabhanjan. That is there in the Adi Parva of the Mahabharata. These details are there in the Mahabharata itself. From the pre-Mahabharata times to the last king of Manipur, that is 1951. And then I have also dealt with the Burmese aggression a bit. Okay. The second section deals with the Burmese aggression, the conversions, the drug mafia, the terrorism activities, and various other issues plaguing the state at present. And the third section is the current period, the present turmoil. The second section is being written by Dr. Ankita Datta. Because for the latest situation, you need to visit the ground and you need to have ground details.
Okay.
So that's the reason we went for a collaborative contract for this. So Dr. Ankita Datta, she has been visiting various parts of the Northeast, especially Manipur, since the last 10 to 15 years she's been there. And Vladimir Adityanath, he has been studying the situation very closely in Manipur. of present events. So he's dealing with the present issue. But in general, as I told a little bit of a gist about the missionary activities, then about the infiltrators, about I have not described about the drug mafia, about terrorism, about this conversion activities. So there is a book by B.C. Allen. So some 100 to 150 years ago, there are only 10 Christians in Manipur. Today they are in lakhs.
Wow.
So, yeah.
This is painful.
So all of this intake of drugs is a major issue, not only in the Northeast, but all across the country, in fact, all across the world.
Yeah. Here
So
in Australia.
It is actually destroying the life.
In Australia also.
It is destroying.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the poppy cultivation was allowed in the hills. So now the government interfered in that and they have stopped the poppy cultivation. So that is also creating an issue. So there are several issues put together that led to the present turmoil.
Okay. It's a mix of lot of issues, and getting rid of the turmoil and saving that place means fixing those issues individually.
Yes.
Taking care of each and everything. It's like the entire body has multiple organ failure. So you have to go and treat each and every organ
one by one.
By one in order to have a healthy body, basically.
Yes.
So how does the...
And it will take time.
Yeah, it will take time, definitely. And so how does the younger generation, the youth of Manipur is taking all this? How do they take it? Or are they just in search of, let's just calm down, go someplace else? So are they migrating due to these problems or...
Yes, a little bit of migration is there, but again, the government is offering relief by establishing relief camps in all of these disturbed areas, and they have all of these people. They have shifted to these relief camps. Their houses were destroyed, and in most of these places, the inhabitants there have to live in very worsening conditions.
I urge all my viewers basically to, if you ever get to meet any people from northeast part and from Manipur, Assam and those areas, please have compassion and help out as much as possible to generously help them out and do something about it, if you can. So, Manoshi ji,
in this book, we have also given some solutions.
Okay.
Diligently, if all of the solutions are implemented, it is not possible to get all of this implemented all together instantly. It is not possible, but step by step, all of these solutions are implemented. Then yes, it will get solved. The matter will get solved gradually over time.
So are these solutions that you have provided in your book, are they in the knowledge of the government or the people, those who are actually doing the work, or those who are responsible for decision making and doing it?
Yeah, they can follow, the government can follow all of these solutions. It is not difficult. These are all practical solutions.
Okay.
For the integrity.
So the government people are not aware of the solutions that you have written. It has not gone
to some extent.
Okay.
To some extent, they have already started creating that border wall.
Okay.
It will also take time to complete. It's a very long distance.
Yes,
border area.
Thousands of kilometers.
So even and then to create a border fencing also it will take time.
Yeah. Okay, so some of the
and then implementation of this, all of this NRC, CAA, that will also help a lot.
Okay. What is NRC, CAA?
Have you sometime you must have heard about this Citizenship Act?
The UCCA.
It's in the news.
Yeah.
CAA. The
CAA.
Citizenship Amendment Act.
The CAA, the Common Citizenship Act, something like that.
Yeah. These are NRC and citizenship are most related to each other, one another. So once these are implemented, maybe for example, in Manipur, the cutoff date is 1951. So if there are people who are there in Manipur after 1951, and even if they have other cards and all, I don't know how will the government handle all of this. Or if the government takes out a different cutoff date, so for example, 1970. After 1970, if there are there's people from Burma who are settled in Manipur and they're creating this chaos and all. So government can do something to send them back, deport them. Likewise, we have Bangladesh is not created long back.
Yeah.
A few years, decades back it was created. So we have so many Bangladeshis here in Northeast, even in other parts of the country as well. So the cutoff date will be the date of creation of Bangladesh.
Very important point.
Okay.
So,
but
what is
even in other countries also we have this infiltrators issue.
Yes,
you know?
Yes. Immigrants issue is illegal immigrants.
This is there all across the world. And then this United Nations, they have provided some benefits to the refugees. So you cannot just, if you want to deport them, you cannot just deport them out. No? You will have to follow the UN regulations and all.
Here I would like to add something. So you see, in Australia is also geographically, it's a very large geography, right? And it's surrounded by Indian Ocean on one side and then Arctic Ocean on the other side. So it's surrounded by ocean completely. Now, nobody can come to this place illegally because there are only few airports and the population of entire Australia is less than Delhi actually. Imagine that. And such a big, India like big geography, but population less than Delhi. So anybody would take a plane or they have to come by ship or something like that. So illegal immigrants. So what the government did for a long time ago here was that whatever is the close island or, closer places like New Zealand. New Zealand is just 3.5 hours by flight, or you can take a ship. People take a ship as well. The ferry they can take and go to New Zealand. So New Zealand and lot of Indonesian places, the Papua New Guinea and all those. So people living there and living in New Zealand and living in Australia, they can live anywhere and work. The citizenship is recognizable, like New Zealand people's citizenship is recognizable here in Australia as well. We don't call them Australian. They never need Australian citizenship to work here, to live here for indefinite period of time and to be part of government services. So these kind of things can also be done between the two governments, saying we recognize your people, you recognize your people, but if for work purpose. So a lot of New Zealand people own the property here in Australia. Lot of Australian people own the property in Indonesia and Bali.
Okay.
So that kind of setup is there, that you can have properties, this, that, and work other than voting rights. And, some of the services like army service, you can't be a soldier in this country if you belong to New Zealand or Indonesia. But otherwise, rest everything is possible. So that way, people can openly come and go just on their passport. They don't need any special visa or anything. So that reduces a lot of overhead when the immigration is being done. And also it removes the idea of, let me illegally migrate to that place, because you made it such a seamless transition. You are providing them support and help and everything that they need. So that is another option that Indian government can think about, that how some of these countries who are surrounded by water are managing with their neighbors, just so that neighbors do not end up sending a whole lot of refugees and asylum seekers.
Already India is one of the largest populated countries in the world.
Yes.
And after China, I think it will be number one maybe in some period of time. And see, and yes, in the name of UN, there are media houses, there are organizations who, in the name of UN, they raise issue against the deporting of refugees also. Yeah. But this illegal immigration issue need to be solved, because there's so many such chaos created by the illegal immigrants, because they will never, these illegal immigrants will never consider Bharat as their own country. So they will.
And the rules
create
here in
chaos
Australia are so severe about illegal immigration that there is a real bad jail kind of a place where illegal immigrants are detained. Some
Okay.
illegal immigrants were detained here for more than 30 years in
Oh.
real bad. Yeah, it's a very famous thing here if you read about illegal immigration and detainment. So just
That should
recently,
also be there in this country.
yes, just recently, like 5-7 years ago, that place was shut down because of the lot of cries from UN, from human rights. It was such a horrible human rights violation here. And who they keeping there? So Australia has somewhere around 2,500 small island places, and lot of tribal people live there. But because of the Navy doing all their shipping exercises and naval exercises and this and that, they just go and plunder, and all those places are destroyed. So where will those tribes and people will go? They'll definitely come to the mainland. And then there is Tasmania. So Tasmania is Australia's state, but it is exactly a little bit, it takes us around 12 hours by the ship to reach there. And it's exactly how the difference is between 240-kilometer difference between India and Sri Lanka. It's exactly like how mainland Australia is with Tasmania. But Tasmania is one of the state of Australia. So again, the same thing. Earlier, it was also people from Tasmania to Australia were considered as illegal immigrants, but then they included Tasmania in Australia. So now they are also Australian. And Tasmania was the first jail for Britishers when they were ruling, doing the colonization in India. For them, the worst kind of jail exists in Port Arthur in Tasmania. Indians were kept
Okay.
there. So yeah, a lot of bad history, bad issues that these adharmic rulers and adharmic terrorizing people have created all around the world. Thank you so much, Manoshi ji.
Thank you so much, Adiguru Prakriti ji, for inviting me to your channel for the discussion.